1, 2, 3.
Get covered, San Jose!
And we're excited to a new enrollment in 2017.
Great. Well, I'm thrilled to be here in San Jose, and in particular at PHP, because you folks know that you've enrolled thousands of people to help them get health insurance coverage. And as we enter the 4th open enrollment place, and we love that they can come to your agency and others to have their minds put to rest to know that they can get coverage for 2017 that's affordable, that provides subsidies, that make it able to get coverage that's the right coverage, and they can pick the private plans that are right for them. And you know, I've heard that you're already booked solid all the way through January. Now, I made the terrible suggestion that you should work longer hours. I'm sorry about that. But it shows the really good outreach you've done here throughout San Jose, in this region, and more broadly, because we have to continue getting the word out. The fact that we are open for business here, we have through coveredca.com, you can land on that website and put in your zip code and find how you can come right to this office and meet people in person. But there are 820 other enrollment centers across California. And in these enrollment centers, there's people that speak English, but also Chinese, also Vietnamese, also Tagalog, but they all speak insurance, which is important because health insurance can be complicated. And getting in-person help is so important when you have something that's as important to people's lives and that can be confusing. These issues is some things have changed this year. So for people that want to enroll online, the system's simpler. Hopefully you found it simpler. It's a little bit easier to compare plans. You can save a plan to the cart. We've made it not quite like buying a book on Amazon, but simpler. We've also improved the benefits. So now it's even less expensive to go see your primary care doctor. With our benefits, we don't have a big deductible between you and your doctor. And it's so important that people know the insurance they get is there when they need it. So we are doing our statewide tour. We're coming on our last days, but of the tour, not of anything else. And you know that the next big deadline is December 15th. That's the deadline to sign up and have coverage that will take effect January 1. If you miss that deadline, you can still get coverage in January. You can sign up all the way through January. But every day you go without insurance is a day you're rolling the dice. A day that you're gambling that you might show up at the hospital and walk out with a $200,000 debt. That's a bad gamble. So we want to make sure people get in and sign up, enroll by December 15th. And again, we want to thank PHP for being such a great partner and such a vital member of your community, because getting people health insurance is about making sure people can have peace of mind that we want every family to have. So I want to thank you again for having us here. It's great to be here. Thank all of you for the great work you do in enrolling people. And again, thousands of people because of the work you've done. And it really is part of bringing healthcare into the fabric of this community where it wasn't before. Let me do one last thing. And by the way, I noticed you have your signs that are scrolling by that the cameras could scroll to, that you have in language commercials. And this is really important. From day one, we've recognized that we need to communicate in English, but also in Spanish, in Vietnamese, in Chinese, because consumers in a very diverse state need to be approached where they are. You're doing that, and that's part of what's made California a success. In the months ahead, we have a new Congress, a new president. Change will happen, but it will not happen overnight. What can happen overnight, though, is people needing health care. And that's what you're addressing today. Because of the good work that you've done, we look forward to taking our lessons to Washington, to have the new president, the new Congress, look to the experience that's anchored in communities like San Jose, where you have made sure, let's leave no one behind. So again, I want to thank you so much for the great work you do. And we'll take a few questions if anyone has any, either from your staff, but from reporters that are here. Any questions?
You know, I know that the premium is increasing a lot.
Yep.
So how you deal with it in the future?
Great question. So the question is, the premiums have increased for some people a lot, not for a lot of people. So in our first 2 years at Cover California, the premiums went up on average 4% each year. This year, they went up on average 13%. But averages mask that for some people, they didn't go up at all. Some people, they might have gone up 20% or even more. The important thing for consumers that are renewing or shopping is they have the power to shop. They can change their plan, and on average, people can have no rate increase if they're willing to change their plan. Now, that can be a hard thing, but having people like here at PHP or on our service center, you can find out, is your doctor in another plan? And do you want to stay with that doctor? But people can now shop, which before they couldn't do. They'd often be handcuffed to the plan they were in before. That's number one. Number two, we believe that next year, 2018, rates will be once again in the low single digits. In California, there's a one-time spike because of a removal of a federal program that helped keep rates low. But that resulted in a one-time increase of about 7%. You take that 7% out, it's about a 6% increase is what we hope we get next year. So we're doing a lot that we can do to keep rates low, but the key thing is to keep consumers in the driver's seat. Let them choose so plans are competing to have the best price possible. Okay, great question. Thank you.
May I ask on
Thank you.
top of this?
Please.
Answer the question. I've been doing the health insurance in the Korea about almost 20 years, and before the California, every single year it's like double-digit increase the rate. And as an agent, I see will cancel the policy. I can't do anything about it. But look at the last 4 years. There's a more carrier coming. They more compete to get the lowest premium. And also, if you look at around the minimum wage, the increase. So people will get more benefit in the subsidized. Even though the plan increase the price, let's say 7%, but the minimum wage increase 10, 15%. So they still get a full subsidized, and you rarely see any change in the premium.
Yeah, it's really it's a great point that when we hear that premiums went up 13% or 6%, the consumer in Cover California, 9 out of 10 of people that sign up with us get financial help.
Right.
Often that financial help more than offsets the premium increase. But it's also important, some people don't have subsidies because subsidies are based on your income.
Right.
If you make a little bit more, you might have no subsidies, and then you're going to pay the full premium. But every one of those people can still shop through PHP, through Cover California, and get a better deal, which again, before they couldn't do. They'd be locked into one plan and often told, you want to change plans? No, sir, you've got a cold. We don't want you. You've got a plan before? You can't come to my plan. You've got diabetes. Now people can move plans and get the best deal possible. Other questions?
The elect president talking a lot about appealing and replacing Obamacare.
Yep.
You mentioned a little bit about it, but you are in a circle of people. You know more than we do. So what is the future of Obamacare, and what is your advice for us?
Great. Great question. So the president-elect has said repeal and replace Obamacare. He's never said just repeal, which is very important because he said there's some things he likes. For example, President-elect Trump has said, I really like the requirement that health plans must take everyone, which is not screening people for pre-existing conditions. He says, that's great. Well, you can't just keep that and not keep other elements. So we don't know what the Affordable Care Act will be replaced with. The one thing I can guarantee is its name is going to be replaced. It will no longer be Obamacare. So that's the one thing I can guarantee. But when you look underneath that, there's a lot of policies that we think are not Democratic policies, they're not Republican policies, they're good policies for consumers. Having health plans compete is good for consumers. Having consumers knowing when they buy a health plan that it covers cancer as opposed to surprise, it's a health plan that doesn't cover cancer, that's good for consumers. So we will have time to figure out what it will be replaced with. And our main message today is we've got plans, prices that are locked down for 2017. Consumers can and should be enrolling with confidence right now, and let Washington run its course. Now, by run its course, we want to spend time in Washington, help them understand how they pick the right elements as you go forward. But we don't know what it's going to look like, and it's going to take time.
That leads to me another question.
Please.
If that's in terms of federal level, what about the state level? What right do we have?
Yeah. So really, to me, that's getting ahead of ourselves. Because, the subsidies are what make the Affordable Care Act work. As you know, 9 out of 10 of the people that have signed up through you are people that say, boy, without the financial help, I could not afford health care. Now, remember, most Americans have health insurance through their jobs, where they get a leg up. If we didn't get health insurance through our jobs, none of us would have health insurance. It's too expensive. So we all need help. So the structure of subsidies is very important, and it's a lot of money. If those subsidies went away, that would be a huge challenge for the state to pick up. It's a lot of money, both for Covered California and for the Medicaid program, Medi-Cal. So I think that's getting ahead of ourselves. Let's let the discussion in Washington go down the track, have good solutions before we try to fix something we don't know is a problem yet. Okay.
Because I see that helps tremendously to every family. There's a lot of family that concerned, because this plan, this program, they can able to have a kid.
Yep.
Having a kid is expensive.
Exactly.
and especially with the people who close to retirement, they're about 60, 62 years old. Now they can retire early.
Yep.
And then it's help the economy too. When they retire, at least they can find a new one to solve the unemployment rate. And I could not imagine if this thing stopped and how it would be.
Yeah. Well, it's a really important point because, and this is one of the important things that Congress needs to look at, is that healthcare is part of the broader economy. It has other huge effects. That what we've done is, so at Covered California, today we have about 1.3 million people covered. But since we opened our doors because of your good work and the good work of others, almost 3 million people have had coverage at one point over the last 3 years. That's because people will have insurance with us for a year and then they get a job with health insurance, so they leave Covered California. That's great, but doing that helps the economy because then people are able to take a risk on starting up a business. They're able to retire early to help other people come into the marketplace. They're able to feel confident and secure in a way they could never feel before. So those are the sorts of issues that I'm really optimistic that Congress will pause and think about those issues and not rush ahead because, this is one of the most important parts of the economy, but it's absolutely one of the most important parts of families' planning, of families' lives, of how they think about things in the future. So it's incredibly important. Yeah. Any other questions?
Yes.
Sir.
Ms. Lee, what is the enrollment ratio between 2016 and you project 2017 in our region, like Northern Cal? And speaking of the economy, there's of course people have jobs, so now they're moving, let's say, from Medi-Cal. So you want to reach out to those members or family that we can help them to enroll, because still there's some factors that are still confusing people, or besides the premium. What is your forecast on that?
So we've always, do some forecasting to think, given the economy, given how many people are uninsured, how many will come in. Now, we're starting open enrollment with about 1.3 million people that need to renew. Many of them have called you and gotten help right here at this agency to understand, should I change plans because of the prices? And they're doing that. In addition, we project about 400,000 new people signing up statewide to get coverage through Covered California. And one of the things that we've been really very proud at is California is the most diverse state in the nation in terms of ethnicity, language, regions, and we've statewide enrolled about 22% of our enrollment are Asian Americans, are Chinese Americans, Vietnamese, Korean, and that's exactly the percentage that are subsidy eligible. We aren't leaving anyone behind, and we think that the 400,000 will reflect that same mix. So I don't know the specific numbers for here in San Jose, but it'll be distributed across the state in similar proportions to what we've enrolled in the past. Okay? Great question. Thank you. Any other questions? No? Well, I just want to end again by saying thank you. And this is where, I know it's both a job and a mission for many of you. Helping people get insurance, it's not, with all due respect, like selling coffee at Starbucks. I just came from Starbucks. It was a good cup of coffee. But that doesn't change people's lives. And what you do to help people understand how to get enrolled and how to stay enrolled is changing lives. It's making a huge difference, and I'm thrilled to be here as we tour the state. And I also want to appreciate the media that are here, because one of the reasons we have been successful in California is you have helped get the word out. And it's essential that our communities understand how important this is, and understand that open enrollment's here, it's meaningful, we're open for business, and this is really important. So I want to thank the members of the media are here as well. And again, thank you so much for what you're doing at PHP. Thank you so much.
I would like to thank you, Director Lee and the team. I know you're very busy. Take your time out of busy schedule to come here visit us. Give us a lot of encouragement.
Great.
You know, and that's what we believe and try to do every day. You know, we try to make sure to help people, insure people with uninsured.
Yep.
And we're very excited this year, and everything goes smoothly. And we cannot ask anything better than this.
Perfect.
We
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Well, and we are partners with you, not just today, this year, but years to come. I mean, one of the reasons, now my team all said, people, you just stop, but it's fine, is I think you know that of the 2.8 million people that have been enrolled at some point, about half have been enrolled through certified insurance agents like you. Half of them. That's a huge number. And that's because you're part of this community. You're trusted, that's where people can turn. And also, given that insurance is confusing, often people go to our website at coveredca.com. A lot of people enroll there, but others say, I can't figure this out. Put their zip code in, say, I want to find an enrollment center near me. Many of them have found you through that tool, but they can find people also throughout the San Francisco Bay Area, throughout the South Bay, throughout California. And so we've had such a great partnership with firms like yours across California. That's part of our success, so we really appreciate it. Okay, thank you all very much. Thank you for the great work you do. Get Covered San Jose. 1, 2, 3.
Get covered, San Jose.